All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Koyomi Monogatari, Episode 2. So, I don't know if the pattern follows off of what it would seem with Hanakawa, then it would probably be Senjo this episode, but it could be Hachikuji.
I could
That would be
see
really
that.
great.
Yeah. In some ways, I just like, this is the shirt that I had close by and stuff, and Hanakawa was in the previous one, so I'm like, okay,
yeah, there you go. I mean, it might be another
yeah.
Hanakawa story.
Yeah, but we've got this sort of let's look back at things where they were from the beginning with kind of the timeline of Bake, but show some side stories,
right?
Some maybe innocuous stories that have maybe some meaning, beyond just what they seem.
And given the fact that this one is called Koyomi, which seems really important considering the whole story and everything.
Right.
Is this some crazy setup for the end or what?
Yeah, if anything, we're going to get some more insight into Araragi, which is
always good.
Always good.
And appreciated.
Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, we're going to be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
Oh, yeah. We're getting Senjo.
Yeah. Stay put.
It's going to be really nice going through all the OPs.
Yeah.
Or a lot of them. Okay.
It's actually been so long since I've seen the visuals for this OP that I don't even remember if this was actually the words for the OP.
Oh.
I actually don't recognize these. It might be actually completely new.
Yeah. Yeah, this seems like it might just be that my memory isn't good, but this seems way more upbeat.
Yeah. That's heavy, bro.
The way it should be.
Well, I mean, yeah. Calendar story. Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
It's good to see her again.
Yeah.
Nope. Right, because this is before the whole conversation about it in Hachikuji's arc.
Oh yeah. Oh. What is it?
And this was before she told him she loved him.
Oh.
Whoa, is this... Wait. Is there a chance this is for Hachikuji? Even though it's way later than when she died? Hmm.
Whoa. Is it the same one?
Looks like the same kind.
I don't know everything, but
Hmm.
oh. Hmm.
18 years?
Ah.
Just judging Araragi from the corner.
The curve, sure. Hmm. Hmm. Even though Araragi jumped off the building into the sun, you know?
Oh.
I just thought that was an interesting thing that they were like, that's
Mhm.
never happened. I'm like,
Well, but it was a different building.
Oh yeah, but so, oh my god. Okay. Oh, so something opposite from like the Shirahebi Shrine. Oh, yeah. Wait,
You placed them?
not wanting accidents to happen? Oh. Oh. Hmm. Okay.
Ah, gotcha. To make people be careful. Gotcha. Nice.
Whoa. Whoa.
Sure. Okay.
Whoa. I am getting the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I'll say it in the discussion. I gotta stay focused here.
Oh, yes. I'm not denying that.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Might know some things. Oh, Aragi. Smart.
Hmm.
I don't think it's a mistake at all. Hmm. Cool. Oh.
So,
Yeah, I have a couple of things about that.
we've had some pretty bullshit theories with Monogatari, but my mind's going to some weird places right now.
I think in some ways, let's go for the simplest answer is usually the correct one here.
Sure.
The simplest answer is usually that
What they said, kind of.
right, is that there's just this lovely coincidence about the whole thing here.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the reason why Araragi's thinking about it is because probably about regarding what he's thinking and feeling in the present. And this is primarily for the audience, so that we are a little bit more aware of where Araragi's head is at internally.
Yeah.
So I want to say that maybe before we go into kind of interpretations, let's look at kind of just what we saw over again, and maybe getting to observe it a second time will give us the
Sure. Kind of like the whole thing with the assumptions of the flowers and things like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have some
Araragi.
I have some weird theories that went into the Gain territory. Like, all right. Okay, so now we're starting to get the pattern here with regards to how this section of Monogatari is going to be going here. We have mini stories that are going linearly from kind of the beginning of Bake onward. We are focusing on other side characters alongside Araragi one at a time. They're going in linear fashion based on the oddities, how they were solved at what time so far.
And then a suspicion of something being an oddity that isn't actually an oddity.
It's just an object that was placed in such a way that conjured up a certain reaction from Araragi.
Right.
In a way that makes him go, oh, let me question that. What's interesting about this is that when we get the explanation in the episode, it's a very much a closed loop.
Right. It's very simple and straightforward. Just, okay, that's a clever way to, you know, to try and keep people to stay safe, you know?
Right. But the fact that Araragi is thinking about this, the fact that Araragi brings this up, the fact that we're getting shown this, it makes us think some very, like, curious things, because it's like, whoa, we're dealing with some heavy stuff here.
And maybe it's just sort of the thematically reminding us of where Araragi was at, you know, like at the beginning of the story. That could be it. Who knows, right? But there are certain things like Oshino saying, maybe I should have placed it somewhere else. And it's like, hold on. And then the idea of him also saying, like, why there's flowers on every roof of your school. They just climbed to the one. That. Yeah, he didn't say that. So, and then the idea that there has never been that in the 18-year history of that school. Wait.
What happened before? Not what happened before, but wait,
Araragi's
the school is supposed to be basically the same age as Araragi.
Right. Like there are little things like that where it's like,
because Araragi was giving off some suicidal vibes with regards to the way things ended in the previous arc, just a little bit. Just a little bit. But what we're seeing here is more of just some little side stories with these characters that he's friends with and stuff. In this case, with Senju Gahara at a very pointed time before he's even met Hachikuji. So him and Senju Gahara are not actually together yet.
Right.
But showing their, you know, banter and chemistry and stuff, and all
it's
that
wonderful.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I love that we get to see this again, because usually I feel like Senjo is so stealing the spotlight when she reappears that we don't get as much time of just like the casual Senju Gahara appearances, if that makes sense. Like they're still in my mind like better because they're so amazing when they happen. Right. But yeah, I don't know. Like, so
we're either getting, you know, a massive dose in Hitagi End, or we're getting small little concentrated doses here and there, like little tiny ones. But there was this element here that I just have to say it, because I'm not going to go too deep into the theory or anything. But there's this chicken and egg scenario here with regards to the fact that these things were brought up. The fact that there are still some mysteries regarding why they were brought up. But then the fact of that, you know, Araragi does perceive these things a certain way, which causes him to maybe act a certain way, which then leads to, that's just story writing, character writing. Right. But I got a little bit of like an after scent of Gain and being like, wait a minute. This seems too convenient. But hey, that might be the whole point of us having that same thing. We're attaching oddities to things that are just regular,
which him and Hisin, like that totally works. But at the same time, like the crazy theory in particular that I thought of when after this episode was the whole Oshino is Araragi traveled back through time or whatever, which even with the rules that we've established in this show of how time travel works, we know that can't be the case. It's not the
case,
But
it was a fun theory at the time.
It was a fun theory at the time. But there's been all these things that Gaina said, like of Araragi and why all these things are happening, and the idea that he's not just any other person, kind of, right? And that there's things going on beyond what Araragi realizes, and that he's not giving himself enough credit in a lot of cases. And this seems like sort of we need to make sure that Araragi, say, doesn't kill himself or something. I don't know.
I thought it also just rather pointed that they had a point of saying, well, no one's jumped off a building, and then they do kind of the thing of where it's Araragi's little silhouettes, doing the things, And it's like, well, that's just mostly there for the visual element of showing a person doing it, but it's like,
Well, and was this whole school built like in some crazy Machiavellian Gain setup so that then Araragi could meet all these people here and have all this crazy stuff happen? Like,
that seems a bit nuts.
I don't know.
I mean,
because if you think, okay, here's a crazy way to think about it.
Okay.
Araragi went into this low place as a result. Oh God, I'm going tinfoil here. As a result of him transferring to this, well, all the stuff that happened with Oikura and stuff for sure, right? But he transferred to this school where he then wasn't able to keep up, right?
Okay.
And he was just doing horribly in all of these subjects except math. He was doing pretty good in math because Oikura. But and that was kind of one of the things that was at least his excuse in Bake and Kizu and things like that of why he was so down, right? Because he was now just floundering. He didn't really, and it made him not really think much about his future. In addition to whatever guilt, self-hatred, all that stuff that was maybe stirring up inside of him from previous stuff. That is when he then met Kiss Shot, right? And then all of this stuff happened. So is this going to be some crazy thing where in order for like Shinobu to end up becoming a god at the end, if that's what ends up happening or something, if Gain gets what she wants in that regard, then this had to happen because Araragi had to meet Shinobu or something like that in order for all this to happen? I don't know. But then at the same time, Gain was saying how like that Araragi was like the thing that she didn't really predict because it's the human factor still. So I don't know, but this seems very convenient.
For me right now, I said this in the previous episode, I'm like, I need another episode to start developing a pattern. Now I'm like, no, I need a third and fourth episode. I need like, a little bit more to start developing any kind of patterns here. Two is not enough, really. 2 is just a thing where you start to see duplicates and you go, ooh, odd objects in specific locations that make Araragi go, huh.
Right.
Or actually, in this case, this one was one where actually, no, neither of them were Araragi.
Oh, yeah.
It was Hanakawa and Senjo bringing them up.
Right.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't Araragi. They brought it up to Araragi like, hey, isn't this weird?
Wait.
And then he attached even extra value to it.
Well, one of the other things that I was kind of curious about with regards to this whole situation for Senjo is because Araragi has always had people close to him that are trying to reach him. Right?
Okay.
And even though they aren't dating at this point, Senjo totally likes Araragi, right? She might not fully trust Araragi and be like, I'm not, like, I still need to, run some tests on you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
She's gone
totally
through some
fair.
stuff.
Yep. And because of that, we get the lovely scene with the whole maid outfit and stuff in episode 3. But this seems like something where Senjo pointing it out might have been something where she's saying, I've detected something from you in the short time that we've known each other. I want to point this out to you because maybe this will have some influence on you in that regard.
Oh.
And does that seem to hold any water for you? Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I could definitely see Senjo doing something like this with that kind of intention if this were to happen in present day. Right? Like, or something where maybe she isn't worried about Araragi killing himself right now, but as sort of a general just, hey, I want to make sure that you're doing okay. And a roundabout sort of like thing like the flowers or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Seems a bit too roundabout to me. Particularly because I get in trouble if like just my own theories with regards to this when I start going into the intent of people here, because it's very tricky just in general, even in real life. Like it's even worse, like just to be able to try and guess the intent of people. But characters, while they're usually a little bit simpler than people, I don't think I can really get a good vibe on the intents of a lot of the characters,
especially if it's not something that's been pre-established.
Yeah. So if anything, I'm more curious as to why this story is being told. It's more of a meta. Exactly. It's more of a meta thing.
Yeah.
Than a literal plot thing.
There's so many things that areas where I'm wanting to attribute meaning to what's happening here, which seems very meta given the fact that they're talking about things that have meaning attributed to them when it doesn't need to be, because it's happening right now. It's happening like within the timeline of the story, not chronologically, but as far as the episode layout and everything.
Yep.
In a very important part.
Yeah, what's the point?
Like with
Because there's some definite things that they are bringing up that feel thematically relevant, but
just
there's
relevant, like tangentially, like.
But there's a pattern here that is starting to kind of coalesce into my mind as something of tangible value, but it's something that I don't see where it's going. Maybe if anything, what would be really cool to see in the next episode, if they then go from here into like a Hachikuji related thing, is to kind of have some callbacks to some of the dialogue that was had where Hachikuji was kind of the one giving a lot of the wisdom to Araragi that he wasn't able to interpret properly, but we will then be able to interpret it properly.
Sure.
Given the context that we have, at this point in time, versus, back then. So this is another example of that, where the point of this isn't necessarily to look at it in just the immediate context, but just to understand that you bring context into things when you try to interpret them.
Right.
So
yeah,
we just need to be aware that we're doing that with this story.
Right.
And then just discuss with that awareness in mind.
Right.
Like that's about all I have. Really.
One of the things that has been really throwing me for a loop with this so far is that, yes, it's about Araragi. So Koyomi makes sense, right? But one, it's his first name, which I guess that totally makes sense because you wouldn't have it be Araragi because that could be anyone in the Araragi family.
Sure.
But these seem so trivial, even though I can see little threads of why they might be related.
They don't also.
Right. And well, but that's what is throwing me for such a loop, because I would expect, from hearing Koyomi Monogatari, it's like, oh, we've focused on Araragi a bit before, but this is where we're going to get into such like fundamental aspects of him as a person,
Well, I think that is what it is.
Maybe even climaxes of his character arcs.
No, but that's the thing. You wouldn't show climaxes. No, you would show fundamentals. Climaxes are not fundamentals. Those are dramatic shatterings, usually. Okay. Those are points where you break and you change, you transform. That makes it not fundamental. That makes it in some ways something where it's something that came from the outside in. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So fundamental stuff is based in sometimes the littlest details. Right. The idea that he was always good at math, for instance, ended up tying to something that was so fundamental to his character, right? That what these have maybe in a similar way is that he has all these people that he can share these thoughts with, maybe.
Sure.
And these are just moments that he looks back on with maybe some fondness. Like it could be something as simple as like, I feel really alone right now.
Oh yeah, that could totally be it. Yeah, thinking about all the friends that he has and the times that he spent with them, because that's important,
right?
Like, because that's and if you think about it, since with Araragi's story at the beginning, he was struggling with suicide and being depressed and everything like that, and he's had his down moments, over the course of the story. I'm not entirely sure whether suicide is still his struggle or whether it's just generally like resolving things within himself, But certainly if you're at the point of contemplating suicide, the biggest thing that'll keep you from that ledge is all the people that that will be hurt by it if you actually end up going through with it, right?
Or just you want to see in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that I could totally see that being something where that's the direct relevance of this episode format as well, with regard to Araragi and where he's at where we left him off.
Right. Let's use this as a way to draw the base stuff. What we know. We know this will focus on Araragi. So everything is fundamental then to Araragi.
Well,
like think about it. Why would you tell it if parts of it or most of it wasn't? So we can use that logic, I would say, to so that a good chunk of it is. Therefore, what we're looking at is something that we need to realize there's context attached to, but we also need to know that we're sometimes approaching things with maybe too much context, and we just need to look at it directly for what it is.
Right, but directly for what it is, these seem trivial.
But that's the point then. We're not necessarily looking at the right things. You're looking too close at something. just, when you have an image and it's a piece of art and you accidentally focus too much on the little, deer by the lake.
And it turns into something else or whatever? Or
Right. But the other images, it fish lenses it. You end up it blurs the outside stuff. But when then you unfocus your eyes, you look at the whole image and then the whole thing kind of gets blurred. But you get this like really beautiful image of the whole thing. It's really hard, I would say, for the human eye to not focus.
Oh, right.
On a
where you're
specific thing.
Not just that you can see everything, but you're trying to not look at anything specifically.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is what we're dealing with here thematically, is that Araragi is like, he focuses on a specific thing all of a sudden and adds all this extra context to it. And then other people are around and being like, hey, whoa. This isn't about this whole thing there. Like, it's, maybe ask some questions, get some context here.
That's one of the other things that is making this really interesting for me. This isn't just a meta narrative that Nisio Isin is telling. This is a meta narrative that Araragi is telling, because this is his story. It is a first person story. It is, we have an unreliable narrator and everything at different points. So the fact that this is happening here is not just because, from a storytelling perspective, for the author's standpoint, it's important, but because Araragi, when all is said and done, and he's telling this story of his, it's important that this be right here.
Right. So here's a good question then. If he's telling this story right now, who's he telling it to? Why is he?
Him and Senjo's children.
Well, let's go out on a limb here, and since there was no literal linear tie-in
for why it's going to this now?
Yeah. Let's just say it's primarily for himself.
Sure. Okay.
Which means he's just thinking about these things.
Yeah. That definitely colors it a certain way.
Now, we're bringing in all this extra context here.
Right, and who knows, maybe it's nothing.
But if this is like that, it's kind of the equivalent of having your life flash before your eyes.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have much more to say other than that, in that we're starting a pattern. It's not fully realized. It's going to be probably a while before it's even close to fully realized. But there's going to be a picture that starts being painted. And I am very excited to see what colors they choose to use, because it could change the entire picture.
And God damn it, Nisio Isin, if you debate us and we don't get Hachikuji next episode, I will be very salty.
Don't worry. We'll get Hachikuji. Yeah. It might not be next episode, but we'll get Hachikuji.
That would still be mean if it wasn't next episode.
That would be mean.
Yeah.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there, and any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general. And you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep. Battle Lines. I mean, come on. You know about it by now. I wrote it. It's awesome. If you haven't read it yet, check it out. It's on Amazon. Link in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.